On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. I like to explain what we do on this channel. Number one, we actually use actual historical returns of the S&P 500 for the last 100 years. This is important. I'm going to share there why that's important. Number two, we project ahead what similar returns might do for you in the future. Number three, the resulting numbers are simply a possible range which may happen in the future. Number four, we use the S&P 500 because that's what everybody's trying to beat, but few consistently do. Number five, we also use it because it's a track record for 100 years, including through the Great Depression years. Number six, this channel is made for you as an aid, but don't rely on it alone for your financial planning. Number seven, the spreadsheets on this channel are simply tools to help you plan. And again, past performance is not a guarantee of future results. But to run numbers for you, all I ask you to do is give me three pieces of information: your beginning balance, your monthly contribution, and your desired increase, and we'll go ahead and run it. I like to run it for at least 20 years, and we run it up to 45 years. Again, thanks for watching this channel. Now, why do we use actual historical returns? Let me show you. I've got this individual wanted me to run numbers for him, and he says he currently has 1,150,000 saved up. We get all kinds of amounts on this channel, and he says he can save 57,000 per year, which I think I figured that out. That was 47.50 a month. 47.50 a month. Comes out close to that anyway. So what we want to do is run the numbers. Now, lots of times when you use financial software, they just say, they plug in what you think you're going to get in return in the stock market. So if we did that, oftentimes they give you a choice like 7%. So if it was 7% every single year for the next, and he's 55, by the way. He wants to know what he might have at 65. He also wants to know what he could safely withdraw per month when he retires. So if given this scenario, beginning at 1.150, and if he did 47.50 a month, which would be close to 57,000, approximately 57,000 a year, after 10 years, he'd have $3 million. So you would go ahead and run the numbers at $3 million. The problem with that is the market doesn't work like that. You don't get a straight 7%. And the reason I don't like to do it for less than 20 years is the following. If you use actual returns, I'm going to reset this. I'm going to look at the returns from 2000 to 2002, and I want you to notice you obviously don't get 7% a year. These are the numbers for 2000. It was down 9, down 11, down 12, and down 37. So after 10 years, what did you have? 1.650 million. What was the 7% average? 3 million. There's a huge difference there between just doing an average return and what we'd actually get. It's 1.650. But notice if we use this 10 years later, when the market didn't have these down years, 2010, from 1.650 to 5.2 million. How do I run the numbers when we have such a range, ranging from 1.6 million to 5.2 million? Or do we just go with the average? Oh, let's just say it's 3 million. See the dilemma I am when I'm running it for less than, especially less than 20, 30 years, but definitely I don't want to run it for less than 20. But this person's 55, so that's my dilemma. What do I do for somebody that's 55 that wants me to run the numbers? So if we use a 7% average, it's 3 million. If we use the returns for year 2000, it's 1.6 million. If 10 years later, it's 5 million. So I think what I'm going to do is do a couple different runs for this individual because he asked me what he might have. So let's go ahead and say he has the 1.6 million, which is, in other words, the next 10 years aren't that good. Okay, let's see where an individual would be. And he wants to know what he can, we'll use, let's just see here. I didn't run the numbers ahead of time. I apologize. I should have done that. Okay, this is 4.5% withdrawal. That'd be 6,000. So in that scenario, after 10 years of withdrawing, let's see, 6,000 a month, you would be down to 689. Again, this is looking at the worst case scenario, or the 2000 returns. Let's just say they happen again, they repeat each other. Actually, I can't really run. Yeah, I'll go ahead and update this for the 10-year. We'll see where you be after 10 years, given every single year for the last 100 years. 1929, if you had 1929 numbers, you'd be down to 392,000, be out of money in 20 years. There's only two times, though. 1930, you'd be down to 524,000, out of money in less than 20 years. But every other scenario, you'd be just fine. So in that case, the 1.6 million looks like you'd be in good shape withdrawing 6,000 a month, which is 4.5%. Hopefully this is making sense for you. But on the other hand, if you had the 5.2 million, look at the difference it makes. 5.2 million. Then at 6,000 a month is only 1.38%. We could basically double that and still not be running out of money. Let's do it at 12,000. See, that's the dilemma I have when I'm running numbers for people. That's only 2.77%. You update that. Which one do I pick? The 1.6 million or the 5.2 million? In this case, you don't even run out of money in 1929. I mean, that's the kind of numbers we're looking at. So actually, we could go up to, let's just go to 15,000. That's only 3.46. You still don't run out of money. 3.46. 0 and 0. The one thing I'm leaving out here, by the way, is a COLA. Let's give them a 3% COLA. Also, let's do a 70-30 split. I'm just showing the kind of variety that I can use to show you, because really you wouldn't want to leave it all in the S&P 500. You want to have split your asset, change your asset allocation. In this case, 70% would stay in the S&P 500, and 30% would go over in a cash reserve, a bucket of some type that you can take the money out of when the market's going down, because you don't want to take these amounts, these 180 down when the market's going down. You want to take it out of your cash reserve. In that case, let's go ahead and update it. Again, it's not going to make any difference. It's going to be 0 and 0, even though we did do the 3%. Actually, 1929 would be iffy after 30 years. That's the only time in the last 100 years. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Again, once we put the COLA in there, that kind of affected only 1 year, though, 1929. But see my dilemma of running it for, we run it for 1.6 million. Again, 1.6 million at 3% COLA. You run out of money, especially while you're withdrawing 11%. So then you went anywhere from 15,000 to 6,000. It all depends on what happens in the next 10 years, because that's all we're talking about, from age 55 to 65. Let's go ahead and update this. We do have the COLA in there this time. I didn't have it before, but we also have the 70-30 split. So just 2 times and 3 times. These are the way back in the Depression years when you run out of money. So my dilemma is, do I tell him he can withdraw 6,000 a month, or do I tell him I can withdraw 15,000 a month? It all depends on what happens in those initial 10 years. If we have a decade like this, he'd only have 1.65 to draw from. If he had a decade like this, he'd have 5 million. And if he just had a 7% average through there, he'd have 3 million. Which one do I run? Anyway, that's what we do on this channel. We love to run numbers for people. Just in the comment section, just give me your beginning balance, how much you want to put in each month, and we'll go ahead and run the numbers for you. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Share this channel with your friends. Let them know there's a channel out there that'll run numbers for them. Please like the video, and thanks for watching.